All right, so we're live, and I'll check this to make sure. I'm trying out a new streaming software, a new streaming system. I've had a lot of help from a very good. I call him a man, but he's young. David. He's very smart, very intelligent, um, well spoken, and certainly knows the technology that we're working with here today. I wanted to, I'm going to be, we are all going to be talking about things such as uh, politics, because it's about how to better initiate or represent or focus on the great middle class. The great middle class is the group that has carried certainly the greatest country in the world, currently at least, right? Has carried that image, has carried that productivity, has carried the the way that the rest of the world looks at us. Um, and if you listen to the rest of the world, you'll notice a big difference. There is, I believe, a coming back to sanity, coming back to being realistic. Now, I'm an independent. I actually voted on a split ticket this year, and have before, but I, I tend to lean right on fiscal kind of things and lean a little left on the social issues, but the left has just gone nuts. I don't want to berate anyone or or lowers lower standards for thinking. You know, anyway, we have a great electoral system, and I think it came out the way it should. Um, there's been other elections that different things have been said about. This election, while starting off tentative and starting off kind of tenuous, is now, I believe, going to head in the direction of our entire middle class coming together. We don't always think the same things or uh, or have the same priorities, but we do, at the end of the day, have very similar values in what we believe the country should be doing for us. And that's something we've lost previously. We didn't have a lot of that sensibility in the offices that have been held recently. Now they're trying to. I don't get how a little bit less than half the country lets their politicians get away with this, and the other half does too. But there's things we got to fix, and there's things that are bizarre, and those holding on to the bizarre, really, I've heard of one. One reason to vote, or one issue voters. But I mean, some of the things that are going on, and we'll get into talking about schools, we'll get into talking about the healthcare. Now that we have what I believe to be the right leadership group coming in, I also believe that doesn't stop that group coming in. There's so many people excited and proud of what this man has done, but that doesn't mean that we just sit in our duffs for the next 4 years or so. Honestly, I'm very excited about it, because I was very concerned about this particular administration moving forward, not because Kamala is a woman or a woman of color. This is the thing that drives me nuts. The narrative is not that, and why different news outlets are holding on to that is concerning to me. Not because because there are people in this country that have been told lie after lie after lie for a great deal of time. Actually, all of us have been told lie after lie after lie. But I'm happy that we've come to this place. I hope that I saw a Thanksgiving commercial, and the song is "What the World Needs Now Is Love, Sweet Love." That had a backdrop of a lady in an apartment building on Thanksgiving indirectly inviting her neighbors in the apartment to their Thanksgiving celebration, and it was beautiful. And these commercials are, but what we have to do is we have to quit looking at the Democrats or the Republicans are the party of my choice, and so most of the time I'm going to go along with what they say. We need to do two things. We need to, at least two things. We need to really start investigating what people are saying to earn their way into guiding us, leading us. We vote them in. They're hired by us. We have to interview them, and we don't, because the news media's encapsulate all the good for their side or all the good for their side and bad for the other. They're either good or bad, and and it depends on the station you're watching about your candidate. Now, there's nothing wrong with watching stations, and the second thing we have to do is we need to start calling out the media outlets. Thank goodness, Rogan, man, that really showed how bad the current media is. And what I mean by that is the news outlets like this one here is taking over the traditional news media because nobody trusts them anymore. And right, I mean, we don't. So you have stations like Rogan's where he talks about issues that are important to his fan base, and that's why he grows so much. We don't need somebody, and they're all biased. They're biased to what their beliefs are, and those beliefs evolve over time. But at least you're getting a communication about a subject that's extended for a while. In other words, it's not just talking heads saying the next talking point. There is a full communication going on about a subject, drilling it all the way down. Sometimes your mind is changed, and sometimes your thoughts are reinforced. And that's really what the news used to be. I mean, I'm old, I got gray hair all over the place. There was a time where at least people believed what they were listening to, and it was, the NBC, CBS, ABC, those news stations were the news stations on those channels were here to provide the news for the day. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I should silence my watch. I left my phone in the other offices over there, but I gotta do something about the watch ringing. So forgive me for now because we're live, and I'm doing all the comment, obviously, and editing and the production work. So I'm not going to stop going live or leave a blank screen going for a while. Anyway, with all of that said, it's time to really start or continue the analyzing of the news media and the politicians on both sides. They're still not. Let me step back here. I got to be honest with you. I think Trump is not only very interesting, but an amazing person. Those of you who watch MSNBC or CBS or if that's your only news source, I know you think he's a dictator and he's going to do all these things. First of all, there's no way in hell anybody could become a dictator. He's going to use the armed forces against people. Do you really think that your 18-year-old son or your 20-year-old daughter or whatever age they are, do you think they're really going to it's silly, but do you really think they're going to turn their weapons onto people? Whoa, I'm moving out of frame here. People that are the people in our government or the other citizens against their citizens. That's, I mean, come on, just step back and think about how logical that may or may not be. It's something that should be pushed back on. Hold on a second. You may not like him, and he's not a great human, but you know what? I believe he's doing everything he does because he loves this country. He loves the middle class. He loves the things that our founding fathers have brought forward and given to us as a utopia on earth. I think now is a really important time to keep paying attention to what the folks are looking at. I'm going to change this. I don't like the way this is. I wonder if this will work. I bet you I can't do it. I got to go in the studio. Next time I'm going to do it different. I just wanted to change up to have it this way instead of this way. Anyway, so I hope that we continue to investigate the media and the news stations. I hope that we continue to grow channels like this where people are talking about important things over and extensively about those things. They're all biased, as I said before, but the information you're getting from that cast, that podcast, or that show, whatever it may be. The other thing is we need to make sure that we don't get back into this situation where everybody's in a box. I'm seeing a lot of videos, and I'm sure everybody sees a lot of videos of different things, and people of different classes just reaching out and say, hey, I want to be your friend. Because that's really how people feel. There's this thing in the media that pushes this narrative that we're all, against each other, depending on our political views, and we can't talk about those things. Well, that's a made up view. I mean, people have started to act that way because they're told it's going on. So we need to really push back and get our country back. We need to have that. We were talking about a utopia. We need to have that utopia be designed, created, and of and for the people, by the people. That's what I'm concerned about for my grandchildren, at least my granddaughters growing up, if not my sons and their families. I say that because AI is coming extremely fast, and it's not going to slow down. It's just going to get faster. So there's going to be a time that I was just at my my youngest granddaughter's first birthday, and I was talking to my son's wife's mother. That would be, I don't know. But my son's wife's my mother-in-law or my daughter-in-law. So maybe I don't know if that'd be a mother-in-law or not. But well, she's a grandmother. So I was talking to her and she was scared to death. Maybe not scared to death, but she's very concerned about AI coming. She didn't want anything to do with it. She just, I come from a different time and I'm comfortable in the way my life operates, and understandable. That's a very logical reaction to something that's coming. I mean, I remember uh, people who were aging back in the 80s, that are like my age and older now. Back then, um, I remember people being isolated because they didn't know how to use the new mobile phone or the internet or this or that. They felt dumb, and they felt out of place, and they felt, like I said, isolated and lonely, because everybody was doing this while their whole life was built this way. So the AI situation, I'll tell you right now, maybe in my lifetime, probably in my lifetime, at least in my kids' lifetime, there's going to be a robot in every house. There's going to be, if we do this right, there should be no reason to have to work. What I mean by that is, if you want to work, you can. And obviously, it's still America with rights, right? You can do what you want as long as you're not doing something harmful or dangerous or, all those other things. But what we will be doing, sorry, I'm getting a little excited here. What we will be doing is living the life of a utopia. There will be nobody below the poverty line, meaning that everybody will have a income that's at least comfortable, the upper middle class kind of thing right now. But if we let the politicians run and the elites just go with what they're doing, covered behind the curtain of the media, if we let that happen, or if we let that build and continue, it's going to be something different. I don't know what that would be, but the Jetsons are coming. If you look at that lifestyle, the Jetsons were they were like an upper middle class family, right? In their cartoon world, but they were obviously coming onto this utopia as not managed by politicians, or the politicians that are not doing what we want for them. I've heard it a million times now that the politicians need to do the people's bidding. And we've been saying this for months and months and months. We are not here to be corralled and scoffed at. We're the middle class. We're a group of people that by far dominates any other group in America or across the world. It's the same thing. Well, pretty much the same thing. But we need to have complete control of our elected officials, and I think that Trump is going to position us for that. Again, we don't let anything go uninvestigated, or it needs to continue, because the Republicans have their extremists, and they can really become over controlling, whereas the Democrats have their extremists, and a whole different kind of controlling goes on. So I just wanted to jump on here today and say, folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get in and let's build on what's been built here. well over half the country has voted one side. That included independents, and it included Republicans, and even like the old, I don't know if you heard the term Republican Democrat. I mean, Reagan Democrats. That same thing is occurring. But what we don't want to have happen is that pendulum. It needs to stay in the middle and just kind of go back and forth like this, instead of what it's doing, going back and forth like this. It's insane, the things we put ourselves through and the things that our politicians put ourselves through. So on both sides, we need to rethink how we look at our politicians. They're our servants. We're not their servants. We have our own lives. And since we do what we do, we don't go into politics. That doesn't make us good, bad, or indifferent. What needs to happen, which I think is started, is people come in from, doctors, farmers, salesmen. They come in and they see something that needs to be changed, and they create that message to help the American people where they aren't being helped now. That's the only reason people should be going into politics, because this country has done so much for them that they want to give back to this country. And so far, I believe that Donald Trump is that character. He is a character, but I think he's that guy to do it. But here's the thing. Let's say that's true. So for 4 years, we're going to move on. We got to remember that our politicians, the political infrastructure is not built for us. It's built for them. So I really like some of the stuff that they're really thinking of doing, or what they ran on, and part of that was getting rid of the waste and the gross inadequacies within our government, getting rid of the infrastructure that bogs down the system and that tries to do their own thing, without having to own up to anybody for it. So with that said, I love you guys, and I really appreciate you. Those we're up over 2,000 subscribers now, almost 2,500. Up days and down days, but I just wanted to get on and say hi to everybody and kind of post the election. I've got some economics people coming on. By the way, this guy Mike Volonic that I'm going to be bringing on, he's a dear friend of mine. I've known him for 20, 30 years. We were in the same industry together. He's retired, and he has, he invests in the stock market, but he invests in different things. And I don't want to get into it right now because I want to be right about the information before I say anything. But I do know that he clears between $4,000 and $9,000 a month off of his trades, and he teaches people for free. This is not a business for him. This is him giving back into a country that's given from him, that's given to him. And again, his name's Mike Volonic. You can look him up. He's down in Texas. Just a great guy. And I'm really excited about this because with AI, Bitcoin, all this stuff going on right now, there is the timing is very good for him to add to the middle class's ability to strive ahead, strive forward, keep growing. So we're going to have him. I'm going to have another buddy of mine that's he happily calls him, his name's Born. He happily calls himself a hippie. And I haven't talked to him since the election's over, so I'm curious. And he's left, very much to the left, but I'm curious. I really look forward to that conversation. We're good friends. We talk about politics, and he's really smart. He's what is it? He calls himself a political junkie or something like that. So most people I talk to, that they don't have responses to other issues. He comes back and listens to what I'm saying, and I listen to what he's saying, and we try and adjust what was heard by the channels in his mind as and bringing that together as a fact, as a reality, as a truth. So I'm gonna wind it up here, guys. I love you all again. Thanks for watching. Go out and shake somebody's hand. Go out and give a good vibe to somebody, because it's time to start working on our getting back together. As a nation, we used to do that. Neighbors used to take care of each other. We're not that, but we need to get back to that. People are beautiful. You people are wonderful. I remember recently a young lady was talking to Trump, and she said, "I'm just a regular person, a common person." And he goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Wait a minute! You're not common. You're special. Each one of us are special, and we have something to give to our life and those lives that surround us." So say hi to somebody. Let's get this thing going. We need to get into some watch parties and some hashtags, change the world and all that. But for now, I'm going to sign off. Again, love you all, and bye for now.